Kitchen right here, refrigerator, stove. It's the Ferrari right here. Keep the Ferrari for good luck. My Egyptian style furniture, the lion.
It is said that Rick Ross moved behind Lil Meech's back. It wasn't just business. According to insiders, it was a betrayal. According to reports, Ross secretly withheld Lil Meech from significant profits associated with the BMF brand as a whole, manipulated contracts, and falsified data. Meech was profoundly embarrassed and broke as a result of the aftermath. A severe setback for someone bearing the burdensome legacy of his father's enterprise. Even worse, 50 Cent, who had cautioned Lil Meech against putting his trust in Ross, couldn't help but make fun of him online by saying, coldly and strategically, "I told him how this would end." That post went viral on social media. The hip scene immediately looped it, debating if Ross had once again outwitted everyone, or if this was just karma finally catching up with him. One harsh question is currently being posed by fans on the internet. Now, who is actually in charge of the BMF legacy? It has been nothing less than a nightmare for Lil Meech. It looks like his imperio be collapsing. Even his most ardent fans have stopped talking since his show was canceled. His decline is now being whispered about by the same people who once celebrated his ascent. He was a rising celebrity in Hollywood one moment, and then he was watching everything pass him by. This is where things start to take a crazy turn, according to insiders.
All that because it was still my first start. So I was just going to the stars, building, the company building, meeting with the execs, and there might be one or two execs in there, and they just...
Rick Ross might have just pulled off one of the pettiest power maneuvers in modern hip-hop history. The chatter implies that Ross was motivated by retaliation in addition to control. According to sources, he made a calculated move that completely upended Atlanta's music scene, shattering long-standing relationships and igniting a flurry of conflict in influential circles. Since then, fans have been wondering how far Rick Ross will go to maintain his status as one of the elite. The streets, the industry, and the fans all want to know, how deep does Ross' game actually go? How did Lil Meech go from becoming the next great thing to losing everything in record time? He was living the dream at one point. The face of the hit TV show, BMF. His acting career was on fire. His fame was glowing brightly in Hollywood, and the checks were coming in. Lights. However, the moment Rick Ross entered the picture, everything changed. And that's when the story took a terrible turn. After Big Meech was released from prison, Ross, a skilled manipulator with a lengthy history of subtle chess plays behind the scenes, allegedly became close to him. However, insiders claim that the decision had nothing to do with respect or loyalty. It was about strategy. Sources allege Ross utilized that friendship to gently take digs at 50 Cent, reigniting one of the most vicious rivalries hip music has ever seen. And everything went according to plan. Chaos struck like a bomb in a matter of weeks. Out of nowhere, 50 Cent made a stunning call. He pulled the plug on the BMF series overnight. There were no cautions, no declarations, no justifications, just total quiet. Suddenly, Lil Meech's main...
So look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Fuqua, what's up? Tarantino. It's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it. I'm just talking.
Source of income vanished. His access to Hollywood disappeared, and his once bright career became frigid. The red carpet, STOPPED, ringing, the $1 million endorsements stopped rolling in. And the cameras that had followed him everywhere suddenly disappeared. From dreams of a penthouse to empty rooms. The descent was awful. This is how betrayal seems in real life. Not just a bridge, but the entire block was set on fire by Ross. Years of hard work, friendship, and progress were reduced to smoke. Due to Ross's choice to utilize real people's lives as fuel for his ongoing feud with 50 Cent. What began as a promising rise to prominence became a cautionary tale about loyalty, trust, and how one well-planned power move can suddenly destroy all. Rick Ross could not help himself. He had to make everything about them. Instead of waiting for things to settle down, Ross added gasoline to the flames and boasted online that he was untouchable. I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a dull small-budget series. Now it's time for a big movie, he posted to social media. And he didn't stop there. Ross started mentioning well-known Hollywood figures like F. Quentin Tarantino and Gary Gray, claiming that his performance would be legendary. But everyone who was paying attention could see the act. Respect, art, or the preservation of cultural legacy are unrelated to this. It was obviously a shot at 50 Cent. Ross was not paying tribute to the BMF story. He was exploiting it to achieve power, turning something sacred into a flamboyant vanity project meant to boost his self-esteem and garner media attention. To completely understand the extent of this problem, we need to go back to the early 2000s. When BMF was more than just a brand, it was a whole movement. Hip-hop luxury at the time was dominated by Big Meech. He is more than just a street legend. He was a living embodiment of strength, achievement, and style. The cars, the gems, and the extravagant parties were all unbelievable. His presence was felt in every city he traveled to. When Big Meech walked in, the atmosphere in the room abruptly changed. At the same time, a young aspirational 50 Cent was making rapid progress in the hip-hop industry, with songs like Get Rich or Die Trying and turning adversity into platinum success. His poetry, hustle, and sincerity made him unstoppable. Streets respected him, the industry feared him, and his name started to symbolize the same ethos that BMF stood for: dominance, power, and resilience. 50 Cent and Big Meech were two forces that would eventually clash in unforeseen ways. What started out as mutual respect between two ambitious titans became into a complicated web of betrayal, loyalty, and competition that still has an impact. On hip-hop today, 50 Cent shared stories that were sincere, pure, and untainted. At that moment, Big Meech's enthusiasm mirrored his own. He did so much for everyone. Man, Banks, Lamborghinis. The fact that Banks drove a Lamborghini is irrelevant. To me, it's going to snow. Man, I even stored it in the garage. Take your time. He shot a picture with no back to the wall, just ambition and respect. Because there was no doubting the connection between them. According to Tony O, the two shared more than just business. In reality, they were brothers. Yayo even recalled the days when 50 would get together at Big Meech's home while a young Lil Meech roamed around the living room, and the older guys discussed their shared goals and business heritage. Back then, it had nothing to do with contracts, negotiations, or celebrity. It was about hard labor, commitment, and respect for one another. Two superpowers are linked on the basis of pure principles. However, things evolved over time. Lil Meech was brought up to carry the same torch, hoping to live up to his father's illustrious name. But Big Meech did not enter the sector he left behind. The streets had changed, the laws had changed, and allegiance had become meaningless. Meanwhile, 50 Cent had grown into a strategic force and corporate tycoon. On a different level. He was no longer looking for acceptance or attention. He was building global liquor brands, production companies, TV empires, international real estate empires, and legacies. 50 was more than just a checkers game. He was playing a game of chess. While everyone else continued to try to understand the board. That was the beginning of the big division. Discipline versus desire. Strategy versus theatrics. 50's patience made him more dangerous than pure flesh. Then came the crucial time. The boldest move of all. When Lil Meech was being disregarded by the entertainment industry, doors were closing, and no one believed in him. 50 Cent took action. The young man was perceived differently by others. He invested money, time, and knowledge. By sending Lil Meech to acting school, he personally assisted him in developing his acting abilities. Crafted enabled him to pursue a career independent of his father's shadow. It was more than just mentorship. It was a second chance at opportunity, structure, and legacy. There were other characters in 50 besides Lil Meech. He gave him advice, showing how a person's mindset may sometimes change their entire destiny. It was the kind of genuine coaching that is rare in today's workplace. This was confirmed by Tony Yo, who said, "From what I saw, 50's was the one who truly believed in him." And that's exactly what makes this fallout so tragic. The same man who helped Lil Meech find his purpose in the acting training proved to be invaluable. After Lil Meech was hired for the BMF role, everything changed in an instant. His name went viral on talk programs, magazine covers, red carpets, and headlines. Now, the game is watching him get torn apart by someone he once considered an ally. The public saw it as a true father-son connection built on shared ambition, trust, and mentorship. But there is a darker side to all that success and glitz. 50 Cent was at his side the entire time, coaching and protecting him at every turn. Was simmering. As Lil Meech's fame grew, there were rumors that Big Meech wasn't happy about his son's closeness to 50 Cent. Initially, the tension was low, but it eventually escalated, with 50 even speculating that Big Meech might have been steering in a post that has since been deleted. The cracks started to show when he encouraged his son to adopt the hospitalist, extravagant lifestyle that had nearly destroyed everything years before. By 50, Lil Meech was being pushed toward structure, discipline, and focus, the kind of thinking that produces lasting power and legacy. But Big Meech was allegedly giving him the opposite, thrilling taste of the chaos that defined his own past. Two worlds, two viewpoints, and two different definitions of success collide in real time. With Lil Meech standing in the middle of it all, split between two father figures, one preaching stability, while the other is founded on danger and legacy. This tug-of-war ultimately shaped his entire future. And it wasn't just tension that resulted from everything blowing up. What they had created together was completely destroyed. And no matter how much, it became difficult to hide the flaws that were surrounded by fame or success. 50 Cent was reportedly involved in quiet disputes that most fans were unaware of behind the flashing lights, the expensive cars, and the red carpets. He wasn't just trying to make Lil Meech famous. 50 wanted to elevate him. He saw Lil Meech as a potential powerhouse, an actor, director, and businessman who could proudly and wisely leave a legacy. Therefore, he should aim for longevity rather than just notice. However, other sources assert that Lil Meech's allies had very different objectives. The feds collapsed because of the same energy that once made BMF legendary. And it was now said that Big Meech was no longer influenced by the 1950s, and that, instead of encouraging maturity and discipline, he was pushing his son to live fast and loud in order to maintain the old-school BMF vibe. The struggle between 50's methodical technique and Big Meech's ambitious vision turned into a full conflict that threatened to recur. Lil Meech is caught in the middle of a struggle between two success plans. This was not just a personal fight. Conflict between generations. Big Meech was raised in a society that valued ostentatious cars, street respect, and dangerous loyalty. His empire was built on power and chaos, but 50 Cent had already gone through that. He had been shot, tricked, and deserted. When 50 told Lil Meech to stay away from drugs, diversions, and negative influences, it had nothing to do with control or ego. It had to do with surviving. 50 wasn't trying to stop him. That empire might go in a second. 50 was suddenly calm, wise, and methodical, moving like a strategy. 50 had seen far too many young artists fall victim to self-destruction, ego, and he was trying to protect him from the same mistakes that had nearly cost him everything. It had nothing to do with control, but rather hard-won wisdom and love. Knowing how easy it was to lose everything while chasing the wrong kind of fame, Big Meech, according to those close to the matter, was unable to let go of the reputation. That had made him a legendary figure because he was still firmly rooted in that legendary attitude. He continued to exalt the same fast life spirit that created the BMF empire, but he also destroyed everything associated with it. I believe he was uncomfortable with my relationship with Meech, he said. Sadly, his child was now same dangerous edge between success and failure, tortured by the need to live up to his father's reputation. Then came 50 Cent's post, which stunned the entire industry. The statement, "I'm telling Meech not to mess with certain things, and he's telling him he used to do it like it's something cool." He struck at the core of the argument between a parent, mired in the past, and a mentor trying to shape the future. When 50 revealed that he had to send Lil Meech to rehab after suspicions about substance misuse surfaced behind the scenes. It was the final straw for a young man who was being tugged in several directions by forces. When 50 finally said, "Enough is enough," everything fell apart. Imagine investing time, resources, and energy in someone you believe in, only to witness the same demons you tried to protect them from start to reappear and moved away entirely, causing the dominoes to fall in an instant. Funding dried up, the BMF event was shut down, and Meech's name vanished overnight, along with all major opportunities. This was a highly personal fallout in addition to a business one. In the industry, 50 was more than just a boss. He was also a mentor and practically a father figure. His absence created more than just a gap in his career, it also left a personal one. Meech's entire career was cut off when he lost that relationship, and things fell apart as soon as 50 Cent pulled out. But Meech didn't help himself either. As soon as the money began to come in, rather than moving like a focused actor, establishing longevity, he began living like a rapper, on overdrive, fast, loud, and reckless. Exotic cars, frequent shopping trips, pricey designer apparel. It became a daily show of excess. Instead of focusing on the work, he became fixated on the image. Tony Yo even brought it up, pointing out that Meech was sporting $10,000 Richard Miller watchers and chrome heart pants. That is, reckless spending, not accomplishment. YAYO compared it to the early Gunnet era, when they were also living in luxury. But 50 Cent always had a backstage plan. Every choice he made, whether it had to do with watches, cars, or real estate, was well considered. By converting assets into investments, he turned every luxury into long-term riches. But Lil Meech was more concerned with gaining attention and likes than making a lasting impact. His social media profiles which featured ostentatious homes, Ferrers, and designer-decorated walls, were a highlight reel of opulence. He desired to give the impression that he was leading the life of his dreams. Even in one now famous video, Lil Meech proudly showed off his lavish home, saying, "This is my kitchen right here," as though that dream was quietly withering away behind the scenes. "I retained a Ferrari for good fortune. My Egyptian furniture is the lion." It was the perfect illustration of what had gone wrong. When reality eventually set in, it was too late because the popularity had turned into a trap. Everything 50 had tried to caution him against, including ego, distractions, and false priorities, was now completely consuming him. Glitz without basis. Celebrity without focus. Late, he loved the antiquated extravagance of Egyptian statues, gold chandeliers, and marble floors. But behind those opulent walls, the company was rapidly losing money and was collapsing from the inside out. Behind closed doors, insiders are accusing Rick Ross of turning mentoring into deceit. A young artist's entire foundation is allegedly being destroyed by the same individual who supports BA movements and generational wealth. That's betrayal disguised in a suit and a grin, not business. The absurd thing is that Ross appears to be pleased with it, flaunting his power as though he had just executed a power move, rather than betraying someone's confidence. Big Meech's role in this tempest is complex. On the one hand, he is a parent, trying to protect his heritage and his son's right to the BMF name. But on the other, he is supporting a man who is clearly abusing that same legacy for personal gain. It is challenging to ascertain whether Big Meech's decisions are impacting Lil Meech's future in ways that could be detrimental for the rest of his life. Regardless of whether he is behaving strategically or is just blinded by old-school loyalty, there could be dire repercussions for Big Meech's kid and the BMF as a whole if he keeps backing Ross. The heritage that formerly represented unity, fraternity, and now power seems to be divided into two categories. 50 Cent's version, which is professional, calculated, and based on respect, and Ross's loud, flashy, and egotistical version. Between the two, Lil Meech witnesses the disappearance of his dreams. And if you like this study, please remember to like, subscribe, and share in order to remain up to date on all the newest developments. It serves as a warning about what occurs when pride and allegiance collide in the spotlight, as the world debates who is genuinely safeguarding the BMF legacy. His father's name escaped his grasp. Deep dives in the latest controversy in hip-hop. Do not forget to turn on to make sure you never overlook a twisting these fanciful stories